Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you, and a very warm welcome. Today, we're going to dive into a few powerful verses from the Quran, specifically from Surah Ta-Ha. They tell the story of one of the most incredible moments in sacred history, the exodus of the children of Israel from Egypt. But, this is so much more than just a story. It's a deep, deep lesson in faith, in strategy, and in divine justice. The source material we're looking at kicks off with this incredible line, and honestly, it just perfectly sets the stage. The event we're about to explore isn't some chaotic, messy escape. No, it's shown as a moment of absolute crystal clarity. It's where the arrogance of Pharaoh finally hits a wall, and the faithful are delivered, all under God's direct command. So let's start at the beginning, with the very first instruction that set this whole thing in motion. The story of this great deliverance doesn't actually begin with the parting of the sea. It starts with something far more grounded. A clear, strategic command given to the prophet Moses, peace be upon him. This is where the whole plan really begins to unfold. Now listen closely to the tension that's baked right into this command. On the one hand, it's an order for freedom, travel by night. But it comes with this stark warning, this guarantee of danger. Indeed, you will be pursued. So this isn't a promise of an easy, quiet escape. It's a test of faith, right in the face of a known, terrifying threat. So you see, what's really going on here is divine strategy, not just a display of raw power. The command to leave at night, that's tactical. It's using the cover of darkness for concealment. The fear, it's acknowledged, right there in the open with the warning of pursuit, but it's not meant to paralyze them. And this just brilliantly illustrates a core principle. Faith is not passive. It's about taking practical, thought-out action, all while putting your ultimate trust in God. The two go hand in hand. So, the escape plan, the terrifying pursuit, it all leads to this one single dramatic moment. Picture it. The children of Israel are completely trapped. Pharaoh's army is thundering down behind them, and this huge, impassable sea is right in front of them. This is it. This is the climax where the chase ends and something else, something much bigger, begins. And then, in this moment of desperation, the instruction comes. And notice how simple the act is. Moses is just told to strike the sea with his staff. But the source material makes a really vital point here. The staff is just a tool. It's an instrument. The miracle isn't in the object, right? It's in the obedience to a divine command, carried out by a power that is infinitely greater. And just like that, boom, the impossible happens. The source text just boils this huge reality-bending event down to a simple statement of fact. Because from a divine perspective, it's just that, a direct, decisive action. So, the very first consequence is deliverance. And you gotta pay attention to that word all. This wasn't a partial rescue. The safety is complete, it's collective, it's absolute. Everyone who followed in faith is brought to safety. A promise perfectly fulfilled. But, and this is incredible, in the exact same moment, the path that meant salvation for one group becomes the very instrument of destruction for the other. And the justice here is just as absolute. Again, that word all is used. For the pursuers, there's no escape. The verdict is swift and final. So let's just pause and think about what just happened. You have one event, the sea, doing two totally opposite things at the exact same time. It's this powerful juxtaposition, and the Quran uses it to teach us a profound lesson about cause and effect, about faith versus arrogance. Let's break this down. On one side, you've got deliverance, and the believers become what the Quran calls the clear victors. Their success is out in the open for everyone to see. But look at the other side. The drowning army becomes something else, witnesses. Now, how can a drowned army be a witness? Well, the source explains that even in their own destruction, they become this undeniable, unforgettable testimony to the very reality they spent their lives rejecting. Let's zoom in on that word for victory, zahirin. This doesn't just mean they won a battle. It means something much bigger. It means their victory was clear. It was manifest. It was public. This wasn't some hidden or quiet success story. It was meant to be seen, to be recorded, and to become a lesson for all of history. Okay, so the Quran has told us what happened in incredible detail, but it doesn't just stop there. It gives us the ultimate reason why it happened. The whole narrative concludes with a single powerful word that acts as the final divine verdict on Pharaoh and all his followers. And it all comes down to this one word: ظالمين. This is the divine explanation for their fate. It just encapsulates everything about who they were and what they did. So what does this word really mean? A simple translation is wrongdoers, but our source points out it goes so much deeper than that in this context. It wasn't that they just made a mistake or a bad choice in that one moment. No, Zalamin here is describing their very core, their essential nature. This was the verdict for their systemic tyranny, their deep-seated oppression, and their arrogant rebellion against the divine. It was their very essence that brought about their end. All right, as we start to wrap this up, let's pull all these threads together. What are the big takeaways here? What is the Quran really teaching us through this incredibly concise and powerful story? Well, it's really presented as a clear case study in divine law. So we see that our own strategy, our own planning must be guided by faith and trust. We learn that miracles aren't just for spectacle. They are precise actions executed as part of a divine plan. And we see that divine justice, when it arrives, is unbelievably swift, decisive, and proportional. Liberation is a public event, something meant to teach a moral lesson to the entire world. And ultimately, the story just confirms this universal principle. Truth will always, always triumph over arrogance. And this all leads to this beautiful final summary from our source: reality aligns with righteousness. Just think about that for a second. In the end, what is real, what is lasting, aligns with what is right. Pharaoh's kingdom, with all its power, was just a temporary illusion. The path of Moses and his people, that was aligned with ultimate reality. So, I want to leave you with this question to really reflect on. This narrative presents justice not just as a hope or possibility, but as an inevitability, as certain as the laws of physics. So what does it mean for us, in our lives today, to truly believe that justice is not just possible, but completely and utterly inevitable? Thank you for joining me.